All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. Slight delay in coming in. Robert called me from the Mayhaw Festival. We're coordinating activities for this morning. He is there and set up. He's already talking to people. We're going to try to capture. There'll be another live that will go up. It's already out there. Uh, be around 10ish, just before. Try to catch the parade. So if you'd like to catch some of those things from there, he'll be broadcasting in and out constantly from there until I guess it's over, and interviewing people and stuff like that. This is Southern Fried MAGA, though. We want to talk a little news, a little politics and news. There is some breaking news, breaking news that is going on. Let me get my other monitor up here before we get really busy. I hope you're having a great Saturday. Had a good morning show. I really enjoyed this morning show very much. Thank you to all those that came into the program. We appreciate that. And you're amazing, the support we have. Have a great Saturday, no matter what you're doing. You might not be at a festival, but have a great Saturday. Spend it with family. This is a good family weekend, a time of faith and family, freedom. Absolutely. Celebrate your freedom. and pray for the leaders of our nation. Breaking news we'll talk about from the Supreme Court in just a second. It's a rarity, sort of a rarity. It does happen, but a rarity sometimes that the Supreme Court makes a ruling on a Saturday, but they've done it. That happened since I've been on the air just a little over an hour ago. The news has popped out that they have blocked for now the deportations of any Venezuelans held in northern Texas under an 18th century wartime law. The court directed the Trump administration not to remove Venezuelans held in the Blue Bonnet Detention Center, quote, until further order of this court, end quote. Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito dissented. Interesting that they dissented. The others did not. The High Court acted in an emergency appeal from the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, contending that immigration authorities appeared to be moving to restart removals under the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. The Supreme Court had said early in April that deportation could proceed only if those about to be removed had a chance to argue their case in court and were given, quote, a reasonable time, end quote, to contest their pending removals. So just another thing to have to navigate around. Doesn't mean it's forever blocked. Sometimes they will take a temporary block to review. ACL lawyer Lee Gallant said, quote, we are deeply relieved that the court has temporarily blocked the removals, end quote. American Civil Liberties Union, American. Got to remember that. Quote, these individuals were in imminent danger of spending the rest of their lives in a brutal Salvadorian prison without ever having had any due process. The two federal judges Friday refused to step in as lawyers for the men have launched a desperate legal campaign to prevent their deportation, even as one judge said the case raised legitimate concerns. Early Saturday, the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals also refused to issue an order protecting the detainees from being deported. The administration is expected to return to the Supreme Court quickly in an effort to persuade the justices to lift their temporary order. The ACLU has already sued to block deportations of two Venezuelans held in the Blue Bonnet facility and sought an order barring removals of any immigrants in the region under the Alien Enemies Act. In an emergency filing on Friday, the ACLU warned that immigration authorities were accusing other Venezuelan men held there of being members of the Fried MAGA gang, which would make them subject to President Donald Trump's use of the act. The act has only been invoked 3 previous times in U.S. history, as we well know, during World War II and earlier. Following the unanimous High Court order on April 9th, federal judges in Colorado, New York, and southern Texas promptly issued orders barring removal of detainees under the AEA until the administration provides a process for them to make claims in court. But there had been no such order issued in the area of Texas that covers Blue Bonnet, which is located 24 miles north of Abilene in the far northern end of the state. U.S. District Judge James Wesley Hendricks, a Trump appointee, this week declined to bar the administration from removing the 2 men identified in that lawsuit because immigration and customs officials or enforcement filed a sworn declarations they would not be immediately deported. He also balked at issuing a broader order prohibiting removal of all Venezuelans in the area under the act because he said removals had not started yet. So that is your news. There's some other deeper news within that you can read about previous leading up to this, but they have barred. So this will undoubtedly be full court press immediately. I don't know if they can even approach the court on a weekend. They could make an appeal, I guess, to those orders, but I'm sure Monday will be a day in which a lot will be said about this order. It's a temporary order. Doesn't mean that it won't be loosened or it could be expanded. So don't know what that might mean, but they wanted some time it gives the ACLU to argue the point in front of the court, and it gives them time to look it over. So we'll see. So anyway, that was breaking news. It just came out. this morning again, because I guess they were felt like they would deport them over the weekend. There is that. So the Supreme Court flexing its muscles and has temporarily halted that. Another news I didn't get to earlier, Representative Comer from Kentucky, Republican, has Friday denied the request of two House Democrats who wanted approval for an official congressional delegation, or CODL, to visit the prison in El Salvador, where Kilmar, what an appropriate name, Kilmar, Abrego Garcia, is being held. Comer, the chair of the House Oversight Committee, called the request, quote, absurd. Absurd. In a letter to Comer earlier this week, Representatives Robert Garcia, Democrat California, and Maxwell Frost, Democrat Florida, said a delegation will allow Democrats to conduct a welfare check. Now, how many times do you see Democrats doing a welfare check in foreign nations? On Abrego Garcia, a Salvadorian national who was deported in March by the Trump administration, which maintains he is a gang member. Your request is denied, Comer wrote back. They said if they wish to travel to El Salvador and meet with foreign illegals, MS-13 gang members, they can spend their own money to do so. I will not approve a single dime of Oversight Committee taxpayer funds for use on the excursion Democrats have requested. I concur. If they want to go, they're welcome to go. Comer said in a post to X with his letter attached, Democrats could still take an informal trip to El Salvador. A CODL, however, gives lawmakers oversight powers and security resources. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, why would you need that? Well, it's El Salvador. I mean, it is absurd that you both displayed active hostility for over 2 years toward the committee's oversight of the Biden border crisis and the consequences of millions of illegal aliens entering the country, and yet now you are seeking travel at committee expense to meet with foreign gang members, Comer wrote. You can spend your own money. Here, here. I love it. It's about time for some plain talk. Yeah, he slammed the door on the Democrats the same day that Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat Maryland, held a press conference about his highly publicized visit to El Salvador to meet with Abrego Garcia, whose plight, the word plight, has become a cause celebrity among many Democrats. Van Hollen said he traveled to El Salvador to urge his release. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, however, posted a photo of the pair on X describing them as sipping margaritas in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Oh, it's the best reality show, right? The best reality show. Just the day in the life of a Democrat. In the various rogue courts, which could be the Supreme Court. Who knows? Oh, Trump to end civil protection for 50,000 federal workers. He plans to reclassify tens of thousands of federal workers, reducing their civil service protection and make it easier to dismiss career employees, according to Axios. On Friday, Axios reported that the Trump administration is set to reclassify 50,000 federal employees. Good morning, Luke Lawson. Thank you for the like. About 2% of the federal workforce is at-will workers. Well, y'all work under the same thing. We're at will. My company could at-will. They don't have to reclassify. They could just send me out the door. It's at work state. Under Schedule F, a new employment category for federal workers established by an executive order Trump issued in his first term and renamed Schedule Policy / Career in an order issued on the first day of his second term. This category would make it much easier for the Trump administration, to dismiss longtime civil servants and other federal workers, quote, in policy influencing roles for poor performance, which we've always said, these people are not doing their job. They're just sitting up there taking the money and not getting it done. Misconduct, that has happened. That has happened using computers to watch pornography and things that have happened in some of those jobs. Corruption, certainly corruption. In fact, corruption should have been at the first of the list. It's corruption, fraud, then performance, or then misconduct, then performance. Or subversion of presidential directives without lengthy procedural hurdles. President Trump's actions to politicize the work of tens of thousands of career federal employees will erode the government's merit-based hiring system and undermine the professional civil service that Americans rely on, said Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, in a statement. His executive order, being Trump says, issued early this year, prompted several lawsuits against the administration from employee rights groups and government watchdogs, WOOF, including Citizens for Responsibility, Ethics, in Washington and Democracy Forward, which filed a lawsuit against Trump, as well as Charles Ezell, the acting director of the Office of Personnel Management and the OPM itself, over the order in federal court at the end of January. So reclassification, there's always a way. There's always a way. So we'll see where that goes. I don't think there's much I can do about it. So we'll see. There was also the court, the federal appeals court, rejected Trump's bid to end the Venezuelan migrants' legal status. It would allow it. They would have allowed it to move forward with stripping temporary legal protections for about 350,000 Venezuelan migrants, exposing them to imminent deportation. So the ongoing court battle continues. The fight over illegals. When are everyday, normal American citizens going to have Democrats fighting for them like that? Don't hold your breath. So I really like, if you don't follow Kevin Sorbo, you should, the actor. You should follow him. He is always coming up with a profound, well, first of all, programming. He has very faith-based and conservative programming that he has become known for. And he's had to fight for his right on that, because there have been many trying to destroy him in Hollywood. But he stands tall in his faith and in his foundation of beliefs that he stands on. A few days ago, he had said that the leftists, the liberals, wake up every day looking, and I agree, to be offended. Looking to be offended. He has another phrase. He told Newsmax, Democrats love to coddle the wicked. Such truth. I mean, just short, to the point little sayings that he has. Love to coddle the wicked. It's amazing. As he's watching this, senator fly down to El Salvador for the Margarita Summit, all the things this guy is accused of, gang member, spousal abuse, possible human trafficking, all the things that this guy's a part of. And yet we have a senator flying down to have a Margarita Summit. And so, look at how they have tried to protect those that even killed Americans. They don't have much to say about those that die, but they sure have a lot to say about the murderers. They cry about them being in jail. They look to get them bond. They raise money for them. He says, quote, they want to make the victims the ones that are the bad people. It's really incredible to me to see this over and over and over again. He said on an appearance on Rob Schmidt tonight, quote, look, the Democratic Party loves their murder. It's displayed, quite well in the fact that they still want abortion. Yeah. They still want to kill babies in the womb. They love their child sacrifice, he said. This is where they live. This is where they pretend to be the party of love. And, they're the party of hate, the party of evil. It's amazing the Democrats keep getting elected, Sorbo said. And Van Hollen's trip to El Salvador just puts the spotlight on their values. When Trump had his talk, Congress sat on their hands doing nothing. When they should have been clapping for so many things that Trump is doing. And I'm glad that he pointed out that he could cure cancer and they wouldn't like him for that. That's true. They will never give him credit for anything that he ever does. It'll never happen. They will always try to find a way to hate on him, to sue him, to convict him, or try. He goes on to say, quote, these people have so much insanity on them, it blows my mind that how bad does it have to get for you liberals to start voting with some common sense? Well, it's refreshing to see a Hollywood actor that speaks out this way. There's others. There's a handful. There's others. There's many that may feel that way that are afraid the same thing, afraid they'll never work again. And believe me, they have tried to kill Kevin Sorbo's career. They have tried. In fact, he had taken great scripts and things for people to read and to look at, and they told him, they said, we love the script, but we'll never be able to make the movie or the TV show or whatever it is because of what you stand on. And just it won't happen. And so he finds his own way. He works through other networks, other things, and I just love it. I've heard him in a speech, and it was just a great speech. I listened online in the car, and I just loved it. And the guy just really just says it straight on. He's like John Voight. I mean, these people are leaders, and they take a lot of heat. I mean, a lot of heat. They just try to cancel them out. This woke leftist liberal way of if you're not with us, you're our enemy. We'll destroy you. You can't. They do not allow any discussion, debate, any wiggle room. You either with us or we will destroy you. That's their way. You look at on the MAGA, you look at the right, and even in the MAGA, the heart of the MAGA would say, they label up as all these racist, evil, Nazi things. And you look at who really makes up MAGA, and it's more diverse than any diversity that they supposedly talk about on the left. It is. There are so many different types of individuals that support MAGA and support American values because you know why? They value freedom. And we may not all agree on what values that we all hold dear on the right, but we support each other's right to say it. That's the big difference. What's the old saying? I may not agree with what you say, but I will lay down my life so that you can still say those things. And that's absolutely true. The left will never say that. In fact, the left would like to lay you down so that you can't say it. I mean, yeah, but we always have had that. Old soldiers, famous for saying those things. I went and protected your right to say it. That's why we have to value freedom. That's why, even sometimes we get frustrated with what people say. We can pick apart and joke about it and all that, but they have a right to say it, and you have to have that, or it's not freedom. We are a constitutional republic. This is another thing that the Democrats never get right. They always throw around the word democracy, majority. They fail to recognize, I think they do it on purpose. They know what we are. They are stupid, but they're not that stupid. They know that we're a constitutional republic. They know that, but they want to put in the Americans' minds, the American citizen, oh, it's democracy. It's all about democracy. More of us believe one way. That's why they wanted to get rid of, the way a president is elected because, it should be what the majority says. We work within the system we have. It protects the smaller states and their that gives them a vote where they can't stand up against California. The Democrats want to grab every big state and then just laugh at you. Say, oh, we got the most votes, we automatically win. That's a constitutional republic. They know this. They say it on purpose and trying to poison the minds of those that are really not knowledgeable about the country, which we all should be. We all should have, enough understanding of how this country was founded, what its laws are, what it stands on. We should all have that, but they don't purposely mislead people and take them down the rabbit hole of using these phrases with a democracy or something like that. It's every speech. It's obvious there's an agenda right now to propagate that. A few years ago, it was all about faith. They wanted to be more faithful. They wanted to show that they had a belief in God. They said, we got to be more religious. They don't have a relationship. It's just religious. It was all a game. It was all, again, the shell game, moving around. Okay, Americans, look, we're going to shuffle the game again a bit this time. We're going to let you know that we're people of faith. Biden's playing up his Catholicism while they're telling him they're going to kick him out. It's just all a game. It's not a game. It's practice, right? Allen Iverson. That's still one of the most classic lines. I mean, it's practice, not a game. It's practice. Oh, but yeah, I applaud Kevin Sorbo. Like I said, if you're not actively following his social media, you should, because you'll get a blessing. If you're a conservative at all, you'll get a blessing almost every day of things that he posts. and then watch his programming, the things that he's producing is wholesome and has value. And we need as much of that as we can get. President Trump said that Senator Van Hollen, quote, looked like a fool. And he did. And he does. Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy, they hate him, don't they? President Trump getting things done, moving things forward, getting the people out of here that need to be out of here. Oh, hold on. We've got to protect their rights. The Democrats have been trampling on rights for decades. For decades. This is the party of the people saying that we need to lock MAGA up and put them in re-education camps. But now all of a sudden they're concerned with rights. This is the same people that tries to obliterate the Constitution of the United States of America. Absolutely wants to rip up the document and destroy it and rewrite it in their version of what they believe it should be. But yet they are crying about the Constitution right now. You people are a joke. It's just sad. And I say again, if someone is a Democrat and the old Blue Dog Democrat, which was somewhat conservative, if you're still in that party, then you join with them. You at least need to move to independent. I mean, if you're going to, yes, Brusky Bear, they do. Still trying to import gang members. They love criminals. They do. They buddy up with them. They protect them. They cry for them. They scream for them. They try to get, funds for them. It's just amazing to sit back and watch these people work. I mean, it's like Kevin Sorbo said. Sorry for the blinking of the screen. Sometimes I link up a Rumble Studio. I get that a little bit. So I do have a good camera. It's not that. It's just sometimes it'll do that. But it is mind-blowing to watch them react and act the way they do towards things that are normal. Like they just go on a rant. They cry and they're on their knees and they're just belly up, kicking and screaming like a little spoilt kid because they didn't get their way and call that we're going to destroy the nation and take it down and we're horrible and there's going to be no America left and blah blah blah. These people are a joke, but sadly they have power and they wield a lot. I mean, we know what they've done. We've been exposing more and more of what they've done. It's just amazing. I mean, to sit back and just pull back at the 60,000-foot level and watch that a sitting member of a sitting member of Congress would fly down, especially that nation, or any nation like it, and sit down there and go crying after someone with all those labels of what they are. It's just amazing. These people cannot have a love of America. Absolutely cannot. They cannot love America. They can't. But I say if the court makes them bring him back, I've said it again, move him to Gitmo. I would put him in Gitmo, or I'd build a prison in Alaska in the far reaches of up there. There's no way I'd bring him back to Continental 48. I don't think they have to. He'll be deported again. This guy's no good. He's no good, all right? He needs to appeal to God. If he wants some changes in his life, he needs to appeal to God. But he's no good. And I am fully for these people being out of our country. Who wants that in their neighborhood? Honestly, who wants that to being in their neighborhood? So you want that guy? You want that guy as your neighbor? You want that guy marrying your daughter, taking your granddaughters out? I mean, come on. Who wants that guy? You got to be kidding me. They had no problem with open borders letting over 10 million illegals in, but they want to crowd or deported illegal gang members. Satan is their daddy. Right on. Spot on, my man. Spot on. Yeah. I mean, they just want to destroy the nation. They want to rip up everything that is foundational, that is family, that is, freedom, that is protection, all those things. I mean, these are the people that were for the burning down of police stations, the chaos in the streets, the shutting down of interstate highways. Yeah, these are the idiots that applaud that. Oh, they're blocking the interstate. Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. I mean, we just have to. The problem is that we conservatives inherently believe, and we believe that there's got to be some good in everybody. It may be deep, but we believe it's there. We just have this, humility, and we have this wanting to find good in our fellow man. We try our best, and it's really hard for us to fathom it. We just can't think on those terms because we don't think like that. These people have no problem with lying and stealing and theft and lifting up as you said, those that follow Satan, and Satan is their daddy. They have no problem with that because it's the way they think, it's who they are, and we have to recognize them for that. You hate to get into a name calling, but you got to call out this crapola. You got to say, look, you're stupid. This is not what Americans want. We need to be hollering it from the streets and on the podcast and everywhere else and saying, look, this is wrong. Yeah, you can go down there, and as Comer said, you can go down there on your own dime. It's freedom. You can get on any plane and fly down there and have all the margarita summit you want to have, but you're not doing it on our dime. No, and I applaud him on that. You know what? These people have used the some of the things that they had as a travel agency. They have used some of the money that can be used for travel, and they have tried to just use that as their personal vacation destination travel agency. And that's exactly what they do. They fly around the world on it. They put up at the nicest hotels on your dime. They'll do it as often as they can. They have no love for that. They're not trying to protect the American taxpayer. They're screwing the American taxpayer. Let me just say it that way. And they love it every minute of it. They applaud it. They laugh at the taxpayer. And they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They get on TV and talk about how they're for the working man. No, they're not. They screw the working man. They take his money more and more taxation. They continue to find new ways to tax you, and at the same time, find new ways to keep you from having the freedoms that you have. They want to control your every movement, every part of your life. They want to tell you where you can and where you can't go. If they had their way, you'd be showing papers at the state line when you crossed into the next state or even the next city. These people are jackboots, I'm telling you. It just shows. They show it every day how they think. And shame on the people that elect them. Shame on you. If you believe that way, you're no different. If you're voting them in and you know how they are, you are no different. If you're supporting that, you're no different. They get mad at the American flag. They get so mad when President Trump shows the American flag and shows it, embraces it, and hugs it, and kisses it. All that just drives them batty because they hate the American flag. I mean, how many times have they had the American flag on the lapel turned upside down? I don't even know. They just throw it on there because they think, well, I better do it. Or you got Michelle Obama up there going, it's just a flag. My God, these people, they're so anti-American. Well, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. I mean, and all these people that are doing this, a lot of white males, it's the stupidest thing ever seen. It's like they're eating their own. It's like, oh yeah, we're horrible. And I said it on a previous program, and I'll say it again. I'll continue to say it. I'm not apologizing for nothing. I'm not getting on my knee. I'm not kissing the ring. I don't have a guilt trip or guilt feeling. I don't suffer from any kind of something that, where I am so sorry. I did wrong. I have none of that. I fight every day to survive through this life like anybody else. I'm sorry if some people's situations, I had a good mother and father, and I did live through a divorce, and we went through some hard times. I mean, some very hard times. We got closer together. We don't grow up crying that somebody owes us something. Me and my sisters and my mom, she's deceased now, but we grew up very tight. We stuck together, and we weathered the storm every single freaking day, and we're the closer and the better for it. And we never looked at anybody for a handout. We never begged anybody to just take care of us because, we were suffering. We just tried our best to get through. Did we get some help along the way? Sure, we did. There were neighbors who helped us and stuff, but we were fighting every day. We worked hard. We dug our way out, and it was things we didn't place ourselves into, health issues. There was, like I said, people that just abandoned us. They didn't care about us. We didn't ask for it. We just continued on and did the best we could do. Amazing. I can't associate with anyone who's demon rat. I don't compromise. I'm past that point. Been that way for years. Demon rats say they are pro-freedom and love everyone, but they want the government they claim to be systematically racist to run their lives. What's really going on? Yeah, truth. I mean, yeah. They want that government so big. They want you dependent on it. They get everybody, and it's amazing how often when they start talking about some money coming out there, giving you some money, how quickly it's like the young, sucking up on the teat. They are so ready for that. It's like, oh, they're talking about giving us some money back. That's my boy. They just fall all over themselves, and they don't realize that's a hook. They're just setting a hook to bring people in further. They're not, if they're giving you anything, which it sure is anyway, if they're giving you anything, there's always, and I mean always, a ball and chain attached to it. It's the biggest sucker job ever. They will screw you left and right. If they send you a check, they're screwing you somewhere else. And I mean bad. You'll be paying in far more than you're getting on some sort of a relief check or anything like that. You got to watch these people. They're wicked. They absolutely do not care about the common man. They could care less about you. And we have to call it out for what's going on. I applaud you, Brosky Bear. We have to change. And I think more and more conservatives are at that point where they're just like, look, you people are sick, and we're calling you out for it. We've been playing nice for decades. We play nice, we just get screwed over, and we just give them a pass. Well, the passes are over, and have been over for a while, and so we should call it out. And that's why they wanted to control shows like this and thousands of others. They wanted just basically shut. They tried to control that radio. They tried to control the TV. They tried to control the internet podcast stations and all that. They wanted equal time. If I was going to get in here and talk about this, they were trying to pass a legal way to force me to talk about their way for equal amount of time. That's lunacy. That's not freedom. That's control, and that's what they want. And Trump was right to defund NPR and others like it. It's just state radio. You might find something on there that you like that doesn't play up as much as some other things, but if you listen to it for any amount of time, it's obvious what their agenda is. It's just obvious. It's just in your face. Brodsky Bear goes on to say, abolish religion and ownership of property straight out of Karl Marx's playbook. And yes, it is. And oh, yes, they're coming after religion. They're coming after faith. They're coming after the churches. They proved that. They proved that during the time of Big C. I don't even want to say the word. Some of the streams get all snippy when we say the word. We can't say the V word or the C word. They get that's what happens. But they tried to shut down churches all over the United States. We will tell you when you can worship. We will tell you when you can open your doors. We will tell you how many you can have in your church. We will tell you what you can what you can preach. That's exactly what they do. These people are they're socialist, communist, Satanist. You go on with it. That's absolutely call it out. They took churches to court. They tried to come out and padlock doors. In some cases, did in certain areas. They came in in Canada. They came in and were trying to take pastors to jail and everything for holding services. This is what we got to pay attention to. Look at what they do first. Whenever they have a national emergency, watch what they go for. Watch the power they try to exert over the American people. It's truly amazing. It's really scary. And that's why we have to continue to stand for family and faith and our rights as Americans. Absolutely. Don't let these jacklegs get away with that. Always call it out, call them out, and be very active in your elections. And yes, we got to try to clean up voter rolls. We got to try to do all the things that have been wrong in a lot of elections around the country for drop boxes and whatever else has been going on, depending on your state and locale. But we got to continue we can't let them win. You can never let them. You just got to keep on fighting and keep on getting out there and doing what's right and get more people to go with you. And we have to be wise. We have to be really wise and pay attention. For far too long, Republicans have just laid in the weeds and let the Democrats get the upper hand on news stories and let them drive the agenda for far too long. Brosky Bear, for years, Republicans have been playing by the Demon Rats rules, while Demon Rats have been playing by their own rules. Trump is taking a stand against that. And I will say this, for them, they've been better to stand together than we have, even though their causes are wrong and their agenda is wrong. They do stand together better than Republicans have. Republicans have turned and ate on each other and absolutely destroyed people in the local election and tried to tear down. They weaken the party, and then they're not prepared to run against a Democrat, and they lose. It's the best thing about Trump. Trump came along. They tried that same crap with him, And in most cases, there were some cases in down ballots where he wasn't successful. But I think his success rate is well over 80%. Well over 80% of people he has supported and recommended, placed his support behind, they have won. And he steamrolled some of these rhinos who were trying to do exactly that, is to hurt Trump while trying to act like they're still conservative, Republican, and all that. And all they were doing was ripping the party apart and causing Democrats to win. Trump has been the one who has obliterated that and kept the party moving forward. I've told you the story in my own state. I've told you, but when he ran in was running in 2015, for the 2016 to be elected in Georgia, they weren't for him. They weren't the Republican Party was for Jeb Bush. I laughed at him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Seriously, that guy, you're going to lose. And of course, they all became Trump supporters once they saw the numbers shift. It was like, oh, he's our guy. Liars. Bunch of liars. There were a handful of people that supported him. But as a party in Georgia, back in the first election run, they were not for him. They told me point blank, he will not win. We're not for him. He will not get Georgia. Well, he got Georgia. You lose. I told him, I said, he's going to win. I said, you better watch it or you're going to end up losing. And that's the one thing they don't like to hear is that they can lose. So they were not happy about that. But I just, after hearing that, having those conversations with them in the Senate chamber and then seeing how they changed their opinion, as soon as Trump started getting his numbers started rolling with him and all the retirees were coming out and voting for him in droves, standing in the hot sun for hours trying to get a glimpse of him. They go, oh, wait a minute. He could actually win this thing. We better change our agenda here. And they got really slick on that real quick. They all dumped their Jeb Bush stickers, bumper stickers and pins and everything else. They got us some Trump memorabilia. This is the most comical thing I've ever seen. But we know who you are. We know what we know what you did. You were all opposed to it, just about every one of you. Broski Bear again. Yep, Democrats did a job trying to silence white Christian males. The veil has been lifted and evil has been exposed. All need to do their part, taking on a daily basis, especially small battles. Yes, absolutely. Call it out wherever it is. I've been challenged. I've told the story. I had a drunken Democrat approach me in a local store and wanted to know what I thought about my boy. I said, who's my boy? Trump. Well, yeah, taking a stand. They were so offended. Because look, like Kevin Sorbo said, they wake up every day looking to be offended. And they woke up that day and they were offended that Zelensky was dressed down in the Oval Office because of the way he was acting or when they met with him. And, they told him straight, you don't tell us how to feel, and I applaud that. And it was too many times have we let foreign dictators, agents of chaos and terrorism come here and they roll out the red carpet and walk them up the carpet and pat them on the back and get all the smiles while these bunch of murderers are out in their country doing what they do. And sometimes against Americans as well. It's a new day. Forget these people. And people are offended. Oh, I can't believe they talked to Zelensky like that. No, I'm glad they talked to him like that. Actually, I wish the guy was in handcuffs in jail for what he's doing in his country, how he has destroyed democracy there, how he's destroying the rule of law, how he's destroying elections, how he's forcing people into the battle line, just grabbing them off the street. How, men are staying at home. They won't even go to the store. Because they don't know who's the next one. They're just going to grab them. There's no process. They just grab you at gunpoint, throw you in the van, and send you to the front lines. I can't stand that guy. I hate Zelensky. I hate to use the word hate, but I can't stand that guy. I mean, he tries to portray himself as one way, but when you really look at the corruption and dirtiness and what's going on in his nation, I can't like a guy like that. I mean, he represents everything that I'm against. But I can't stand his ideology. I can't stand the way he's doing. Do I like Russia and Putin? No, I don't like Putin. I don't like what he's doing. I would wish that things would change. I don't want to see people dying in the battle line, in the pits and stepping on landmines and being, obliterated by missiles and drones. I would hope that it gets solved very quickly. But that guy is a joke. He's worse than a joke. He's evil. And I have no use for him. So we stand by this administration. We're in it for the long haul. We're hoping that, yes, absolutely, we hope that we can hold on to this to the White House for 12 years. I think we got a good shot at doing that. But we got to hold the people together. We got to stand against these jacklegs and the agendas that they have and expose them for the the satanic ways that they're doing things, their hatred of the preborn, of women's rights, and all those things. We have to point that out and call it for what it is. Brodsky Bear, I agree. Putin is a scumbag, but Zelensky is a much bigger scumbag. I mean, he really is. Everybody thought this guy was a hero. I don't need a rod. I need ammunition. I mean, he wrote on that for weeks. The guy wrote on that. Everybody's like, "Oh, I love this guy." At first it was easy to get behind, even though but those that were really following and knew, they could see some of the stuff from before. They knew there was some hinky stuff going on in the nation. Well, then the next thing you know, this guy's out there. This guy's out there, and you start getting reports in of what he's doing. Who also is trying to destroy religion in his own country. He also has attacked the churches, the pastors. That just doesn't get reported, what he's doing to some of the people and organizations in his own nation. These people are destroying more rights than Russia ever thought of. It's unbelievable what's going on in Ukraine. I mean, he absolutely will not make a deal. He'll say he wants a deal. He won't make a deal. This guy will never cut a deal. He'll have to be forced out. He will never, ever, ever agree fully to a ceasefire. Russia knows that. They know all they got to do is just prod him a little bit because he don't want it to end. Hey, Zelensky, stop begging, stop pulling over 65-year-old farmers, pulling 64-year-old farmers off their land and putting them on the front line, stop closing churches. Yeah. And that is exactly what he's doing. Exactly what he's doing. This guy has brought his nation, a big section of it. Now, in some parts, it's like there's no war. I mean, they're just, life goes on. But in that southern and, south eastern region, all the way up into that near the Kursk region where they're at Russia's territory, it's, the battle line is horrible. I mean, nobody lived there for decades. They've mined it so much. It's destroyed. All the buildings are gone. The structures are gone. It's, massive death, hundreds of thousands of soldiers, counting both sides that are dead or crippled. And, both sides are sending crippled, injured soldiers back into the front line. Some of them on crutches. Some of them on crutches in the trenches. And it's just a killing field. But yet he keeps on pushing. He's not going to push Russia back. I hope we pull out. I hope we just, stop. If Europe wants to continue this battle, let them do it. They cried about America and they're going to be the new leader in the world. Oh, yeah, you jacklegs. The ones who turned their borders open and have set their innocent citizens, set demons loose in their nation to rape their women and kill people and rob and thieve and everything else. Look what they've done to all of Europe with this crap. And then they want to lecture America. Shut up. Sit down and shut up. And they're the ones that's really trying to push this war to continue going. Is Europe? Well, they can have it. Okay, it's in their back door, so to speak. Let them have the war. Let them back Zelensky. I say we move out and we just protect American interests. So we'll see. I think there's probably still something there, Brodsky Bear. I think there's still some things that are happening. There are things that were already agreed upon that's being transferred. Some of that's been cut off. But I think there's still some things that are there. I mean, if they didn't, they wouldn't even have a government. I mean, we're paying for all of the government workers in Ukraine to have a paycheck, every single one of them. Their pension funds are being provided for by U.S. tax dollars. Absolutely, we're supporting all that. We're probably paying for vacation homes and everything else because nobody has a tracking mechanism to know where all the monies went that we have sent over there. So nobody knows exactly. I mean, there's no way to know exactly because there's no accounting. Now, some of the military stuff is easier to see. I would like to know what happened to all the F-16s and stuff, F-15s and stuff, and they were training pilots for Ukraine. Whatever happened with that? Because we know it takes years to build an Air Force. Whatever happened with that? Zelensky wanted to get his airplanes because he don't control the skies. Russia does. He wanted to get planes up in the air and start attacking. And I believe his plan was just to drive them into Russian territory, start bombing Russian airfields and bases and the enemy from the air. He was talking about defense of his military. I think he wanted to go on the offensive with it. And I think that's why. And plus, it just takes a long time to train pilots up. and there wasn't that many planes. The Russians could have surely defeated them, but the parts and the supplies you need to keep those planes up in the air. But I would like to know. There's been no update on that in months. I would like to know what happened with that. Even Biden was all for supporting them somewhat with that, but supposedly we never approved them to go across the border. But they did that in the Kursk region. Says, I have heard a report that Zelensky and a lot of top generals and colonels bought property in California. I can't confirm this is true. I've heard California. I've heard Florida. I don't know if it's true either. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked at it. Would anybody be shocked that they have their exit plan in place? Because this thing isn't looking good. I mean, I still think Russia could overrun the country if they wanted. They could pummel the rest of Ukraine into submission if they really chose to. They're carving out a section they're going to keep. That's sure. That's happening. But Zelensky and his top people, they've got to know that they have a plan B. And that plan B is to have money and resources and property and things in place for if that happens. Because I'm going to tell you what, there's a plane and helicopters and stuff ready to take them out at a moment's notice if they need to. And I would say behind the scenes diplomatically, I would say they've already approached him about getting out. He has refused. That's the reports I've heard, is he said he won't do it. But I have heard that he's been offered a lot of money to leave and just go ahead and turn the country over to somebody else and let them have elections. And he has said he won't do it. But you know what? I heard it as much as $5 billion. I mean, at some point, my God, $5 billion? Are you kidding me? I don't know if that's true or not. That was rumors, but we'll see. But if he don't get out, the Russians are still trying to kill him. They still have those gangs that are still actively, those Chechenian gangs, militias. That order has never been lifted. They're actively still trying to kill that guy. So he has his enemies. He has those that are, that's part of war. You've got people that over in that region, especially, they're trying to kill the leader. I truly wonder how much everyday Russians are being affected by this. I also wonder if Putin is still held in high regard with his people. People don't like the war. I think Putin is still held in high regard because they like a lot of things he has done. But I will tell you the skull on the ground is this, and this is what I've heard, is that every day, he suffers. The people are more and more, they hate this war. They absolutely hate it. Because every day the planes come in and they land with the bodies of dead Russian soldiers. And it's become a ritual where they go out to see, to go pick up the bodies and bring them home and bury them. And these are coming in by the droves, as well as the injured. Nobody knows the official number, but these numbers are really, really bad. And so you just can't keep doing that without the populace, because every time there's a death, that affects another network of people and other people and more people. And people are getting, at some point, they want to know what the strategy is. Everybody wants to know how much longer. What is our mission? We have the same feeling. What is our mission in Iraq? What is our mission in Afghanistan? What are we trying to accomplish here? Do we have an exit strategy? All those things. Russians are no different. So I don't know if they get the news as good as we do, but I can tell you what, you can't hide dead bodies being brought in and unloaded off of planes. And that's what's happening. So on the ground, the more and more, the longer this goes, the more the Russian people are going to turn against the war. And by default, they would not be fully supportive of Putin, at least as far as the war is concerned. So I think that has probably changed somewhat. Early on, they were pretty patriotic. They were going to go. Now, a lot of Russians didn't like it. They sent their sons out of the country. There was a big exodus. Remember before they closed the doors? There were a lot of Russian men who were exiting. They're living outside the country. They saw this war as not a patriotic duty. They saw it as just a place to go die. And for what? They didn't see the cause. They couldn't see the reasoning behind it. And they couldn't see the cause in it to want to go do that. So I truly think that on the ground, those ideas are changing about how Russian people feel about the war they hate, and by default, Putin is probably losing some support. Not that he can be voted out. We know how that goes. But I think on the street, a lot of people are sickened by it and ready to be done with that. So it's good stuff this morning. Get you fired up talking about it. We're going to be getting off here in a couple of minutes and signing back on for the Mayhaw Festival. We'll still be live, but we'll be working with Rob as he's down at the Mayhaw Festival in Colquitt, Georgia. We have the live over set up. We'll be going live there. He may already be up. I don't know. I'm going to pop in on it here in a few minutes. I love the talk. I love this show. keep on bringing it. Thank you, Brodsky Bear. I'm so glad that you've started coming into our channel. And thank you for bringing your thoughts. Everybody else, there's quite a few people in the stream this morning. We appreciate you on a Saturday. Thank you for your support of this Southern Fried podcast and Cornbread Nation. We got a lot of great things working. We got our website, should be done next week. Pardon me. We are LLC now. We're going to have our coffee for sale hopefully by June 1st. We're going to push for that. Don't forget Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile, use the Cornbread promo. You get a month free, and you'll be supporting the nation, or you're supporting an American country in the company, if I get my words out, in the nation, and also supporting the Southern Fried Podcast. We're part of the loyalty program, so we like that word loyalty. So we're loyal to our nation, we're loyal to American businesses, especially those that are patriots, America first, and that's what they are. This company's been around 11, 12 years. They're not going anywhere. And tell you what, it's the only business meeting I ever had where they talked about Jesus Christ. I love that. And they're fully supportive. They give us everything we need, and y'all do that. Mammoth Nation is another one of our affiliates. We love Mammoth Nation. I'm a lifetime member. I support them. We have a QR code for that we put up that you can support the Southern Fried as well when you become a member. Also, Podbean on the audio side, we're a partner with them, and Dubby Energy Drinks. Those are our affiliates. And soon maybe something else. And we have a store. We thank those that have already purchased from the store: shirts, hats, stickers, whatever it is. Many more things coming. We're here to stay. We produce a lot of programming every week, and we're glad to be in part of your viewing time, which we know is precious. We thank you for giving us some of that time. It means a lot to us. You're honorary breadheads. You see that behind me, SFP breadheads. And that's another one of our slogans. And we thank you. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Easter. I will be on throughout this morning. I will be on in the morning for an Easter message. And tomorrow night we'll be back with the news. Who knows? Probably some other program we pop into. Support the other great podcasters out there as well. God bless you. God bless America. And we'll see you soon. I need to get off here so I can transfer over to the live channel for Mayhaw. And we'll see you soon. Salute. We'll go out with some music. Take care. God bless. Have a great day.